I'll first talk about the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. I'll talk about some of the other key regulatory agencies here in the U.S. I'll discuss the key regulations, the main regulation that is overseeing or regulates your products, the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. Discuss some of the common misconceptions that companies have when they are exporting products regulated by the U.S. FDA. And then I'll talk about a new regulation, a new law that has just come out and is effective now called the Food Safety Modernization Act. So let's get started firstly with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. That is a federal agency. It's not a state or local agency here in the United States. It is under our Department of Health and Human Services, and it is organized into 7 different centers. The parent organization, the Office of the Commissioner. Below that, the various centers, the Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition, Center for Veterinary Medicine, Center for Devices and Radiological Health, Center for Drug Evaluation and Research, Center for Biologics, Center for Tobacco, and the Center for Toxicological Research. Now, the center that we'll be most concerned with is the Center for Food Safety, also known as CFSAN, which I'll get to in a couple moments. The Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act is the principal regulation that oversees food, drugs, cosmetics, all of the types of products that you would be exporting to the U.S. If it's a food or beverage, or a dietary supplement, or an ingredient that is going to be regulated by the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, which was established in 1938. That law today remains the principal law regulating all products of food and beverages, whether they're produced here in the U.S. or exported from abroad. This regulation has been amended many times over the years, right up to the new Food Safety Modernization Act. So what products does the U.S. FDA regulate? They regulate, again, food and beverages, health supplements, cosmetics, drugs, etc. Now, the role of the FDA really is twofold. Firstly, they act as a gatekeeper. In other words, they are the licensing body that decides what products, what ingredients are appropriate for the marketplace. They set the standards, often with the public and with industry input. But secondly, they are the police, in essence. They are the enforcer of regulations. They are in the ports of entry. They work with Customs and Border Protection, another U.S. agency, to oversee the importation of food and beverages. Now, the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act is detailed in what we call the Code of Federal Regulations. And the Code of Federal Regulations, or CFR, are all the rules published in what's called the Federal Register of the executive departments and the agencies of our federal government, of which FDA is a part. Title 21 of the Code of Federal Regulations is reserved for the rules of the FDA. Now, as I said earlier, the Center for Food Safety, that is the center within FDA that oversees most food products, with the exception of meat and poultry, which is regulated by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and I'll get into that in a moment. Agricultural foods, products, processed foods, canned foods, seafood, alcoholic beverages, non-alcoholic beverages, bottled water, seafood, etc. These are all regulated by the Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition.